Okay, we come to the second problem in this set of free response questions dealing with trapezoidal and rectangular approximation. It states that the rate of consumption of cola in the United States is given by S of t is equal to CE to the KT, where S is measured in billions of gallons per year and T is measured in years from the beginning of 1980. First, if the consumption rate doubles every 5 years, and the consumption rate at the beginning of 1980 was 6 billion gallons per year, then what is C and K? Well, first we're told that S of 0 at 1980, the consumption rate is 6 billion. Stated another way, we could say that S of 0 is equal to CE to the K times 0 is equal to 6. And since K times 0 is 0, E to the 0 is 1, so therefore C is equal to 6. Next, we're told that the consumption rate doubles every 5 years, so 5 years later, or S of 5, should be 12. Now we can write S of 5 is equal to 6e to the 5k, and that's equal to 12. Now we'd have to use that expression to solve for k, and the first thing we do is divide both sides by 6, and we get e to the 5k is equal to 2. If we take the natural log of both sides, we get ln of e to the 5k is equal to 2. Then we bring down the 5k, ln of v is 1. So 5k is equal to ln of 2. And finally that k is equal to ln 2 over 5. So we found c and we found k, and now we can write s as a function of those two, or as a function of t with those two as constants. And so that does it for part A. Part B says find the average rate of consumption over the 10-year period beginning with January 1st, 1983. So the average rate here, consumption, is the function that we're working with, and it is a derivative, so the average rate of consumption is just the average value of the rate of consumption function, average value of S, on the interval from, we're going from, for the 10-year period beginning in 1983, so that's from 3 to 13. And so the expression would be 1/10, or 1 over 13 times 13 minus 3. So 1/10 times the integral from 3 to 13 of S of t dt, and we're going to have to use our calculator to find that. So I start with y equals, and I just have to be careful with the parentheses here. I have 6e to the, I need ln of 2, so I have ln of 2, and I can put the x next, ln of 2 times x divided by 5, and that should be sufficient. That gives me my function. I go back out and I'm going to do math. fn int, option number 9, vars, y vars, function y1, comma, x is my variable of integration, comma 3, comma 13, and then when I get that I'm going to divide it by 10, and my answer comes out to be 19.680, and that's in billion gallons per year, 19.68 billion gallons per year. So that is the average rate of consumption over the 10-year period beginning with January 1st, 1983. So that gives us A and B. For part C, we want to use the trapezoidal rule with 4 equal subdivisions to estimate the integral from 5 to 7 of S of t dt. So we're going from 5 to 7, we're going to break that down into 4 subintervals. So that's going to be roughly equal to, this time the width of each subinterval, which is the height of the trapezoid, will be 1/2, and h over 2 would be 1/4. Then we're going to have s of 5 plus 2s of 5.5 plus 2s of 6 plus 2s of 6.5, then plus 1s of 7. Remember, the first and the last are not doubled. All the other ones are doubled because they're used twice or for 2 different trapezoidal areas. I bring up the calculator and I'm going to use 0.25 times. Here my S of t is y1 of 5 plus 2y1 of 5.5 plus 2y1 of 6 plus 2y1 of 6.5 plus y1 of 7, and close parentheses, and we're ready to go. We get 27.668. I'll close down the calculator, and we want to explain what that is in cola consumption. That's the quantity consumed.